that point in time. He may be trying to, but he's not using the same old, oh, you got a pretty smile, or I love the dimple in your chin, eyebrows, your hair, whatever. Isn't this refreshing? A new way to try to get in your drawers? Next topic is mansplaining, which is the act of explaining something to a woman, specifically woman, in a condescending and patronizing manner. Is frustrating and a demeaning behavior. Men need to recognize when they are engaging in this and to respect the knowledge and expertise of other people, which really means women. It says regardless of gender, but mansplaining is always when a man does it to a female. They try to soften it up, but it really don't talk to us too much without our consent.
Is mansplaining? Well, it's when a man explains something in a manner that feels patronizing and condescending. In this video, I'll talk about how men can be more aware of mansplaining and change it. And in another video, I cover how women can handle mansplaining and create awareness around it so it'll stop.
So it's, again, for men to be aware and change in how women can deal with it. It always comes down to men bad, male bad, testosterone bad. We need to crush any bit of it out of young boys or little boys, young men, and to make sure that they will grow up in a manner to where females are comfortable just because they want to feel comfortable. Really, they want to feel dominant over males, but under the guise of, oh, well, he's just talking to me in a condescending way and I feel X, Y, and Z. It has nothing to do with that. This is one more lie that is being constructed for the sake of destroying little boys who will eventually become young men. And they don't understand what they're asking for. They sure don't understand why they're doing it. Even this individual right here, in my opinion, he doesn't even understand why. He might be just pandering to women for whatever reason. But there are reasons. I'll get into that later.
And by the way, you can download the PDF with key points in this video in the description below. All right, before I go on, full transparency here. Yep, I've done it too. And I had to learn ways to change that. So why do men do this? Well, at core, it is a fear-based need to project competency. And before I talk about ways to stop this, let me share what psychologists explain about this.
It has nothing to do with fear. It's a necessity. It's a necessity to talk in a manner when you are confident of a subject, and even when you are not too confident of a subject. Let me let them go.
Behavior. Men doing this often speak as if they are the expert on a subject, when they often are not. And men tend to do this especially if the subject is related to professions where generally men are mostly employed. Why men do this more than women? Well, partly because since childhood, our society has trained boys to suppress their emotional expressions and project confidence above all else.
The audacity to saying that males are trained to suppress their emotion just cause. You do not want a man who does not have the ability to control his emotions. That's the last thing you want. I think he's pandering. I do not know for sure, but just let him continue.
You know, showing real manhood instead of connecting in authentic ways with everyone.
You can't connect with everybody. Everybody's not worth your time. So this is nonsense right here. In my opinion, this is nonsense. Everybody does not deserve everybody's time.
With time, as we grow, we are finding safety in environments that represent masculinity and become more accustomed to using mannerism and language that conforms with these environments and circle of competence. Then we are not only sharing common interests, we also share competency around these interests.
Competency. How else do you prove your competency if you do not share the knowledge you have, be it dead on correct or slightly correct or moderately incorrect? How do you show your value as a man if you are telling little boys to hold back and wait for somebody to say something to you? It's like double dutch when you on the outside and waiting to jump in and you just, yes, it can be slightly troublesome, but it's not just cause. It's not to diminish or negate anything coming out of the female's mouth. It has purpose. They do not, the individuals who are saying that we need to get rid of this, they do not understand what they're asking for, and nor do they understand why it is as it is. It's not all bad. It can be annoying, but it's not all bad. And stifling this is not good for society. It's not good for little boys who will be young men, who will become grown men. It's not good for society to try to stifle this need to prove one's value through interjecting any knowledge they may have. How do you learn if you do not interject and ask questions or even put your thoughts out to see what comes back? I don't understand this intense hate for males. I don't understand it.
Basically, as a man, having knowledge over something means that I have status in a group. So men grow up having to demonstrate that competence, which when brought to women, doesn't really land the same way. Truly, it's not that men believe they always have to show their knowledge. It's that there is a fear of failing to give that impression, which means losing status.
This fear has nothing to do with fear. If you take the time to take in information and you see an opportunity to share it, why wouldn't you put it out? Why wouldn't you put it out to see if A, you've digested the information correctly, or B, is there a counter to it that might cause you to rethink something? Instead of looking at it as a negative, look at it as, oh, they are sharing. I think they're incorrect. Let's have a dialogue. Contrary to belief, males do enjoy having conversations. It's just not the superficial conversations. We prefer to have conversations that generate something. And when I mean generate, produces wealth, gives inside information to something that can produce wealth, can put them in a better position to produce wealth. It's not just cause. I don't understand this. This is okay. If you just read what she's saying and how the male counterpart is interacting and the looks on her face, how I doubt if it was somebody that she was very attracted to, she would have this look on her face. Or she would feel even if she felt he was mansplaining, she wouldn't say it. She maybe say it to a girlfriend, but she would not be so bold as to say it with her face like she's doing here. I'm a feminist. The thing about feminism is in her mind, he's mansplaining. Well, how do you know what his interpretation is? Never mind whether or not you agree with it, but what his interpretation of feminism is. If he doesn't go into it, you bring something, a topic of discussion up, and he goes in headstrong. Isn't that an opportunity to have the discussion? Isn't that an opportunity to bounce off ideas off each other and maybe come to a conclusion? Maybe you change your mind. Maybe
say hello to my little friend. The hell?
Maybe you change your mind. Maybe you don't. I don't know. But I'm currently investing, and he interrupts. Investing, let me tell you something. Why does it have to be a negative, though? Maybe you learn something. Maybe you learn something that will benefit you in one of two ways. What he is saying is something that you had heard, and because you hadn't heard from somebody else, you really didn't think about it. But now that he says something, he solidifies the reason for you to look into it further, whatever it is. Or at least say, oh no, he is going the wrong way. Let me tell you about it. So you can display your intelligence. But it's that. These are the things that they consider mansplaining. If it's a topic of discussion and you have knowledge, be it dead on, slightly off, or moderately dead ass wrong, why that? Why that look? Why not a discussion with somebody that doesn't in any way, shape, or form gives you the inkling that he's trying to get in your drawers at that point in time? You may be trying to, but he's not using the same old, oh, you got a pretty smile, or I love the dimple in your chin, eyebrows, your hair, whatever. Isn't this refreshing? A new way to try to get in your drawers? I don't understand. I really don't understand this insanity of, oh, well, mansplaining is a problem.
Mr. Speaker, tomorrow is International Women's Day, a chance to both celebrate how far we've come on equality for women, but also to reflect on how far we have to go.
Now, remember, he said Mrs. Speaker. Remember, he said Mrs. Speaker.
Not just in this country, but around the world. Later today, Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister is due to meet Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, the ruler of Saudi Arabia. Despite much talk of reform, there has been a sharp increase in the arrest and detention of dissidents, torture of prisoners is common, human rights defenders routinely sentenced to lengthy prison terms, unfair trials and executions are widespread, as Amnesty International confirms. As she makes her arms sales pitch, will she also call on the Crown Prince to halt the shocking abuse of human rights in Saudi Arabia?
Now he's addressing this woman that's about to speak. Look at what she does.
Well, first of all, can I thank the Right Honourable Gentleman for telling me that it is International Women's Day tomorrow.
He didn't tell her that, specifically her. Out of all them people in there, he did not tell her that. But now she's about to...
I think that's what's called mansplaining.
Now you see, it has nothing. A, that wasn't mansplaining because he wasn't talking to her. But B, you see the look in her face. It's not about a man sharing his knowledge. It's about the contempt of a man having knowledge. I personally believe a lot of women are attracted to the dumb jock or the street dude. Not saying street dudes are dumb, but the conversation, the thought process in some is stifled. It's not, it doesn't, having topics of discussion can be limited, not to their detriment. There are street dudes who got street knowledge and they on it. I'm just talking about worldly, really, really deep worldly topics of discussion. There are that are able to, but I think, in my opinion, women are more so drawn to the quote unquote dumb jock. They're more so drawn to the street dude because there's less opportunity for them to want to try to quote unquote mansplain. You know, maybe they don't want to share information that would be seen as, oh, they're mansplaining. They less likely to interject for whatever reasons. But like I said, I don't think it's really about, oh, well, they're talking like this individual, the look on her face, there's just contempt. That's all that is. He said, oh, well, now the thing is, if he didn't mention it, not saying she would, but somebody in there would say, oh, well, you didn't mention that tomorrow was Women's Day and da-da-da-da-da, and it shows your lack of care for females all over. You know, so it's a double-edged sword. If he mentions it, you get that look. If he don't mention it, he gets dragged. It's ridiculous. It has nothing to do with, oh, well, he's talking to me in a condescending way and I feel, no, that's a lie.
Hi, Steve. As you can see, I like to color my hair. Okay. I've had 12 different colors in the past 2 years. And I just graduated college. I'm looking for a job in marketing. And my parents don't really think that I'll get a job because they can't take me seriously. And nobody else will take me seriously with my colorful hair.
Now, you see, she already got the information that she's going to hear, which is, you can't be brand new on the block and talking about, oh, well, I want to show up and be the face of a new company, corporation, what have you, as I see fit to. But she already had that conversation with her parents, as she said. So the information isn't a problem, it's who the information is coming from. Her father she would probably consider him mansplaining. Oh, babe, you got to understand, you know, you can't just come up there and For whatever reason, she needs to hear from somebody else, somebody who doesn't have a dog in the game, to possibly for her to consider not having blue, green, red, yellow, orange here. But that's the thing. Somebody on the street would be like, if she was coming through the door, of the business to fill out an application and a man said to her, yeah, I don't think you want to come in here with that hair. That's not the atmosphere up here. Wouldn't that be considered mansplaining? Did ask for his input, made her feel a certain way. Check, and check, right? So it's not the information, it's who's giving the information more than anything and how they feel about the information that's coming from the person, whether or not they value them, like them, or feel that they have information worth sharing. That's what it's all about. Let's see.
So you heard this term mansplaining, like when a man explains something to you in a patronizing way, and it's something that you already know.
The satire of this. Just listen to this.
Yeah, so let me spell that out for you. It's actually MANSPLAING, mansplaining.
Now, that's how they interpret what we share or how we share it with them. It's, oh, well, he's just talking to me like I'm dumb. That's not mansplaining in any way, shape, spelling it out. That
And how about this term manterrupting, when a woman is explaining something and a man cuts her off?
About that term. Yeah.
Manterrupting, as if men are the only ones of the two sexes that interrupt somebody while somebody is in mid-sentence. Only manterrupt. That's how ridiculous mansplaining is.
Yeah, hold on. Let me Google that for you. Yeah, so it's when a man starts interrupting a woman when they clearly know what they're talking about a little bit more than he does. So I came up with this new term. It's called bropriating. It's when a man takes a woman's idea and passes it off as his own.
But that was my idea, and I told you that a week ago.
I mean, but isn't that the byproduct of being in a workspace? The competitiveness, right? If you're in a workspace and you're trying to get ahead, isn't it a possibility that if you're sharing an idea with somebody, that somebody might steal your idea? Is that just being competitive, or, cutthroat, dog eat dog world, blood and water, whatever type environment? Doesn't that happen? But you want to put it as, oh, well, men do this. It's a thing that warrants putting a title to it. Oh, he's corrupting. I don't know. Bropriating. As if males are the only ones that do that. They just don't like males, and they're trying to destroy males at the earliest stage possible.
You don't have to respond to what I'm saying because I know I'm hard. I'm hard on people. You don't have to respond to what I'm saying. But what I'm saying to you is you need to think about the situation you're putting your kids in. And the initial knee-jerk reaction is, I've taken care of my kids. This judge don't know me. I don't. But what I'm telling you is you ain't giving them babies time to know you either.
See, this you got to know them before you interject or give them any bit of information that might be beneficial, that might be worth hearing. Who's got all this time to know everybody? Who's got all this time to know everybody, to know, well, do I interject here? Do I wait? Do I follow up 3 days later? Nobody's got time for that. Strike while iron is hot. We're not all special unicorns. We don't have the time to say, well, I'm going to try and figure out whether or not this person is going to be receptive to what I'm going to say. You take a shot. Hopefully it's something beneficial to them. Or maybe they're just trying to holler at you. I don't know, like I said, with the lady from earlier with the faces. Chances are he was trying to holler. And this is his way, like I said, of not going straight for what color them drawers. He's working the long game. But it's considered mansplaining because you're not attracted to the dude, whoever it is that's saying it. But like the judge said, well, you don't know me. You don't have to know you in order to try and share information. Sometimes information comes to you when you least expect it, from the person you least expect it to come from. Not special. Just consider what you want to call mansplaining is something that you might need. You might toss it away, but you might need. It's a 50-50. But if you look at it, oh, well, he's mansplaining and the attitude, the faces and stuff, you cut what could possibly be beneficial to you off right then and there.
So I will accept your plea of guilty. I'll sentence you. I mean, I'll accept your plea of NOLO because you seem like you need a break right now. I'll give you the NOLO plea. I'll sentence you to 12 months to serve.
But, like she's saying, I'm about to say something, but, you're going to say you don't know me. I just don't understand. This hate is ridiculous.
All the attention, and it's like just another way for men to try to compete with women to like feel good.
Men don't compete with women except on the job.
Attention, and it's like just another way for men to try to compete with women to like feel good about themselves, and it's like, why? What did you win? You won nothing but my middle finger. Okay, so we all know what mansplaining is by now, but something I haven't...
Again, coming up with some new thing that supposedly only men do to women. As if men don't do it to other men. As if women don't do it to men. As if women don't do it to women.
People talk about is man joking. Have you ever been in the middle of a conversation with a man and you make a joke and then he goes and like makes a joke to be funnier than you? Like he makes a joke that's funnier than you and then everyone laughs and then it basically...
Don't they say that men in general try to be funny? Men in general, men are funny because they use humor to kind of signal that I mean you no harm. I'm not saying that laughter can't lead to, a terrible outcome, but in general, to lessen the tenseness that can come with meeting somebody for the first time. Isn't humor used to disarm? But again, man joke
like invalidates your joke and then he gets all the attention, and it's like just another way for men to try to compete with women to like feel good about themselves, and it's like, why? What did you win? You won.
I just find this list of things that is supposedly tied exclusively to males ridiculous. You do not want men who cannot control their emotions. You do not want men who choose to be silent to not be able to share how they want to share. It can cause not damage, but it can cause problems if you try to stifle what is natural in males. Reason why, I'll say for me, the reason why I tend to interject is because I have knowledge that I don't mind sharing. Not that I'm an authority, but I like to engage in conversation with people. And based on their response, I will share more thoughts or interject on topics of discussion. You cannot shut that off. You cannot shut off the desire and need to share information. Yeah, there's some that do it because it's something to stroke their ego. Yes. But in general, no. If you, okay, not that everybody's a CEO or anything, but if you have aspirations to climb the corporate ladder, you have to be always on. If you're in the mailroom, you have to be able to have discussions with those who are 4 and 5 floors up. A, to get their attention. B, to let them know that you are studying subject matters outside of the mailroom. So they can say, oh, well, such and such is in the mailroom. Let's try them out in a junior whatever. Let's get them in an internship. Let's get them out of the mailroom. Internship. Yeah, internship, not paid. But you get the experience. You get to have more conversations with those in the higher up levels so they can assess whether or not you'd be a fit beyond the mailroom. And you continue to take in information and learn so you can talk to the juniors, the junior executives, so that they can get an idea of where your mind is at, what your thought process is. Are you standard milk toast or are you filet mignon? I don't know. But if you're not always doing that, it's not going to be natural. You're going to fumble and you're going to do things that are going to be contrary to what you are, the goals you're trying to aspire to. So just because there's a young lady like this one here who's in your presence, you don't shut it off just to make her feel comfortable. You've got plans. You trying to do something with yourself. So you think that you want men to make you feel comfortable. So you think men are going to make you feel comfortable about being able to have discussions with them without them interjecting or speaking as a semi authority on a subject matter to make you feel comfortable when they're trying to get to a certain level in this world. If you try to raise little boys to where that they don't do that, even this year with all this nonsense, if you try to stifle young males who become grown men, you're going to have men that do not only don't have the practice, continuous practice it takes to get to beyond the mailroom. You're going to have people who are going to be stagnant in this world. You don't need more stagnant men in this world. You need more men who are constantly trying to aspire to greater levels in this world. That's the machine that's the grease that keeps the machine moving. You're going to say, well, what about the women? I'm not talking about it when we don't have men talking about womansplaining. We don't have men talking about what's the bro woman creating. Doesn't even sound stupid. You don't have men talking about, oh, well, how she's interjecting and constantly talking about she as if she knows everything. You don't do that. Take it in. Yeah. And maybe bounce up. Well, let me see what she really knows. What is her understanding of the subject matter? We don't come up with words for y'all. But for us, oh, we need to shut this down. This ain't right. Oh, it make me feel a certain way. They're stealing my thunder. They're trying to make me, they're going out of the way to make me feel small because they're intimidated by me. Nonsense. You want to compete, you're going to have to compete with us as we would compete with men. You want to be in the workplace with the men, you got to compete with the men. But to make women feel comfortable at the detriment of young males who will become males, that's cruel. That's evil.
Anyway, you take care. Still love you.
Anyway, that's all.
Even though you're a rotten pill.
See you on the next.
Still love you.